2022 Special Seward City Council meeting to order. Let's just all start the pledge together.
Okay.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Tonight's roll call. Clerk.
Here.
Olsenga.
Here.
Colleen.
Here.
Wells is excused. Casagrande.
Here.
DeMoss.
Here.
Mayor Terry.
Yes.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is citizen comments on any subject except those items scheduled for public hearing. Those who have signed in will be given the first opportunity to speak. Time is limited to 3 minutes per speaker, 36 minutes total, and name if you're inside or outside city limits. Madam Clerk.
Madam Mayor, we have one person signed in, and that is Tim McDonald.
Tim McDonald, welcome, sir. Nice to see you.
You want this here? Oh, this is your agenda packets.
Yeah, he has an extra one.
Hello, greetings. Let's keep rolling. I think the issue of the electrical utility is probably the most important thing that's ever come before the citizens. And I don't mean just the citizens of Seward, I mean all the way to Moose Pass, because it affects all of them. And it's the one thing that everybody deals with every day, because they use electricity every day. So every single person is, creates some power liability. And the electrical utility was started by a private individual in Moose Pass, Mr. Estes, I believe. And then they did the power station up the canyon, and the city ended up buying it from them back in 1930, whenever. So a lot of history there, but I don't think selling it to a big conglomerate is the way to go. I know it's, chew gas of people or something that are supplying it. I really think with all the stuff that's going ahead, that we need a chance for the citizens to run it as a co-op and see if they can get the prices down. I know you guys are buried under it, and that's understandable, but a co-op is a different animal. And, I never saw any, the city has never moved on wind power, letting people feed wind power into the grid, solar power, etc. Solar started to look pretty good after May and June, 60 days of straight sunshine. The problem is, that it's just a system for distributing electricity and a couple of old engines, to back it up. What we need is storage capacity. And, I think that we could do it on a small scale as a co-op. Like there's a thing called sand batteries they've been working with that have great progress. There's actually some secret stuff going on, and sand is a great holder of heat. It'll hold it, and it's cheap. No strategic materials used like regular batteries. So, we should do a vote to mile 27 for everybody, an advisory vote, since you can't legally let them, and leave, sell, not sell, co-op of the users of the electrical utility, and you guys wipe the slate clean, no debt, and sell it to them for $1. I think that would be fair to do that. And I'm afraid that the way things are going, it looks like you guys have already made a decision. It was supposed to be, we're going to talk about this, and all of a sudden you guys are getting bids from everybody already, so the fix better not be in. It's not right.
Anyone
Do I need to
else?
stick around to the meeting, or do I got to leave?
You can stay till the executive session begins. Thank you for checking. Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda and consent agenda, and I'm looking for a motion in a second.
I move for the approval of the agenda and the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, I think we're ready for a vote.
Voting on tonight's agenda and consent agenda. Olsenga.
Yes.
McClure.
Yes.
Casagrande,
Yes.
Demas,
Yes.
Calhoun.
Yes.
Mayor Terry.
Yes.
Your agenda and consent agenda are approved, and you have no items on consent.
So next is citizen comments. There's another opportunity for 5 minutes of citizen comments if anyone wants to take advantage of
4 or
that.
5 more minutes? I will bore you some more.
We're ready for you.
You guys, I don't want to be unfair in my observations or my criticisms, but this last election, the 3 seats are all running unopposed. There's something wrong there, folks. You know, it's not because everybody's happy, it's because everybody's given up, or they don't want to participate, or they don't think they have a chance to participate. You might as well get a clipboard, and anybody that wants to serve can sign up, and you can just rotate it, whatever. But that's how they do it in Russia. That's how they did it in Nazi Germany, yes. Like I said, I don't want to be unfair, but it's a straight across observation. And I've mentioned it before, you don't have a legal quorum of voters. You don't, you know, you're selling electricity 25 miles out of town. And I don't think it should go that far, but the city Seward boundary should go to at least mile 8. And it's really a huge disservice, and it's never gonna get any better. Things are just gonna get worse and worse. Who's gonna do something about our bike path on Nash Road, which we don't have, which we desperately need? And there's a dozen other things like that that are caught in the conundrum of inside-outside city limits. So, and, you know, you ask a lot of people outside city limits, and, oh, we don't want to be part of the city. And it's not because they love the city or they think they're doing a great job. They don't want to have anything to do with you. And that's not their fault. That's your fault. So you guys have to entice it in, and I mean, they have a right to representative. I mean, they want to change things, and I don't think anybody wants to change, and that's why we do not have a representative quorum. You know, 600 voters does not represent the people of Seward. It really doesn't, and I think it's a travesty, and somebody, you know, do whatever it takes to do the right thing. I know it's not going to be you, Mayor, because you're taking off, but it needs to be done. It really does need to be done. We need to bite the bullet, we need to annex out to mile 8, and do whatever it takes to make it work. You know, that's basically what it is, because then we'll have, you know, we don't have any genetics. Nobody's running for office. Nobody will go on to fill the boards out. You don't have any people. We need people. And you're not going to get it because the way Seward is structured, 60% of our houses are owned by people that don't live here and don't vote. One of the biggest problems, I was talking about growth. It doesn't have anything to do with growth. It has what has to do with what kind of growth it is. And that's the growth that is more vigorous than anything else, is people moving in here, putting in vacation homes. They don't have to worry about nothing. They just come up here and stay whenever they want and leave and pay their property taxes on their house, but they do not vote. And it's a travesty. I mean, we're in a weird situation. I don't know if the town's ever been quite like Seward before. But we definitely need that, the other 1,000 voters or whatever there is outside city limits to mile 8 to fill out the roles for people that can serve on the boards and can run for office and can vote. So I urge you all to consider this for the sake of Seward. It's not for any one person. It doesn't matter whether it's good or bad for this or that, the near term. We're talking about the next 100 years. You gotta do it. You know, look at all this growth you guys have been jamming through. You know, there's no oversight here. So, and the city, you know, what's the city getting? $300 million in coronavirus relief money? Or going to be pouring inside the city? That's like, you know, this place might as well be Chicago in miniature. You know, that's what it looks like. When you observe it, that's what most people think of it is, or think of some sort of a fact. And, you know, you're all very nice people, but but the overall effect is non-representation, no oversight, and spending money wildly on things that don't matter to most of the people that live here. So, you need more voters, just to keep yourselves in check, if nothing else. I hope you don't take fits, because I don't mean it, I really don't. I care about Seward, more than raised here, and that's what it is, man. You gotta clean up your act, you know?
Thank you. Next on the agenda is council and administration comments and responses to citizens' comments. Administration comments?
No comment, thank you.
Councilmember Cascarone, any comments?
No comment.
Councilmember Calhoun, any comments?
None deserved.
Thank you. Councilmember Osenga? Councilmember DeVos?
No, thank you.
Vice Mayor McClure? The only comment I have is I disagree with a number of Mr. McDonald's opinions, but I do thank him for taking time to come to the council meeting. Next on the agenda is the executive session. I'm looking for a motion and a second to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session. I'll second.
Thank you. And with this executive session, just to clarify the motion, we are going into executive session to discuss matters, the immediate knowledge of which would clearly have an adverse effect upon the finances of the city relating to the electric utility sale negotiations, and it will include the city attorney, utility director, and also the city manager. And Madam Clerk, if we could call for a vote, please.
And just for clarification, we're going to be telephonically calling the city attorney.
Thank you.
Voting on the motion to move into executive session, Casagrande,
Yes.
McClure,
Yes.
Osenga,
Yes.
Calhoun.
Yes.
DeMoss.
Yes.
Mayor Terry.
Yes.
That motion is approved and you're moving into executive session at 5:42 p.m.
There'll be a slight delay as we get the attorney on.